Hello folks, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we're going to be looking at a brand new release by Carenado. This is their Mooney Ovation, which was released about a week ago now I think. And it's a 4-seater, all metal construction, high performance single engine aircraft that I guess during its era, when it was first released in the real world, would have been the sports car of the skies. And it was when big engines in single engine general aviation aircraft really became a thing. I mean, look at the sort of tail section there. It looks like it's built for speed, this thing, and it reminds me a little bit of the Comanche actually. But yeah, this actually has a number of features that I haven't seen from a payware aircraft yet. And as you can see here, we're looking at it, it's static objects. We've got a tow bar there, we've got an external power connected, and all of that is controlled, if I get into the cockpit, by this fancy little tablet here, which you can't see. Hang on, there we go. That's a welcome addition. It's something that's been missing from this sim. So well done for Carenado for getting that in this sim. I don't know how they've done it, because I know that for whatever reason, the default aircraft in this sim, you can't open any of the doors, and you can't really interact in the normal way we're used to. But as you can see here, oh, the sounds of this thing, beautiful. It's all there, and if you just listen to the sounds as we open the door, you can hear all the birds and everything. In fact, you won't notice that because I had that open, so let me just shut that first. Try that again, and can you hear that? And of course, when the engine's running, we'll do that again, just so you can really see the difference. And I know that's a minor point, but to me, those things are really important, particularly when the sim gets VR. It's kind of just very special to open the doors, climb into the aircraft. You know, it's just makes that all-important immersion factor there, and I think that's what's been missing so far. So well done to Carenado for that. We're going to take this for a spin around Wickham Air Park. This is payware scenery, by the way, by Pilot Plus, which I'll put in a link in the description below. I've also done a review recently, and I'm totally blown away by this scenery. It's my favourite go-to place, and I think the Mooney here just looks perfect, doesn't it? Oh, it's gorgeous. So, what we'll do is, we'll climb aboard, get rid of our tablet for now. Whoops. And first of all, we'll put the battery on. Now, all these sounds, by the way, are bespoke, and they are actually recorded from the real aircraft, which is worth noting. And you can hear the gyros spinning up there. Just going to shut up so you can hear it. Very nice there. Oh, honestly. I'll say now, guys, that of all the Carenados I've had over the years, and I've flown quite a lot of them and reviewed them on the channel, this, in terms of the sounds, is the best one to date. Absolutely. Right. We'll put the alternator on actually as well. We'll put our beacon light on, which is on this sort of, would you call it an overhead panel? Not really. It's not quite an overhead panel, is it? But we'll put the beacon on there. Fantastic. Right. Make sure that we're on the right tank there. That's fine. We'll put a mixture fully in and the prop fully in, and what we'll do is we'll put the boost pump on just for a few moments. Very nice, just very high quality. That should do that. We'll go back. We're going to open this little hatch here, shout clear prop, and get going. There we go. That sounds so nice. In fact, it reminds me of an old motorcycle I used to own. It was a VFR, and it was a V4 engine, and it just has that kind of raw, beautiful, kind of offbeat charisma about the engine, and it gives it great character, honestly. Right, now that's been done, we can put the avionics on, radios on, we'll put the pitot heat on, just we don't really need it today, but it's a nice summer's day here in the UK. I am cheating though, it's not real weather. At the moment the weather is awful, but we won't talk about that too much. We'll get our trim wheel sorted. And I think we are ready about for taxi. So we'll just jump outside so you can hear the sounds. And as you can see there, the wings are wobbling because of that engine. Can you see that? I've never seen that effect before. And also the panels are slightly sort of like dented. They're not perfectly flush, which again is a very nice effect. You can see the engine there. The panels, the actual the gear, we can just see. Struggling to get a decent view here, but the landing gear struts all modelled to perfection. I really do think that they've actually succeeded in creating an aircraft that's even better quality in terms of the visual aspect anyway than the default planes. And I know that's a strange thing to say, but the default planes in this sim are so nicely modelled that I did wonder if Carenado could beat it, but they really have. If you look at the stitching there and the beautiful leather in the HP Reverb G2, that's going to look very nice indeed. Right, anyway, let's remove the parking brake, which is down here somewhere. There we go. Listen to the sounds there of the rudders, toe brakes, everything just feels very alive. Oh, that engine, beautiful. And we'll taxi out. And what we'll do a touch and go, and then maybe we'll just do a bit of general handling tests to see how she flies. Now it's worth also mentioning that the ground handling of this aircraft is very, very nice indeed. I've noticed some of the default birds in Microsoft Flight Sim are a bit tricky on the ground, particularly at sort of certain speeds you just can't turn. But with this, it feels very much like it's supposed to, quite honestly. It feels really good. Right, let's just check the wind direction here. Okay, we haven't got much wind here, so I think we can take off from this side. That'll be absolutely fine. Put some flap in there. We'll get our landing lights on. And strobe. You can see how we're shaking as well. I really like that effect. That's nicely done. It's those little details, as I've always say, I harp on about it, but it makes the immersion, you know, really makes the difference. So before we take to the skies, I just want to show you a perhaps minor detail, but to me it's all about those little touches. If we just put our pilot and co-pilot on in our little tablet here and go outside, just look at the detail. Look at that. That's the best models I've ever seen. Very convincing. Anyway, that's enough gawping at all of the graphics. Let's take this bird up and see how she flies. Now you've got to be very careful with those engines, and particularly the P factor on takeoff. We're just going to feeding a little bit of right rudder here. She doesn't need too much trim. Keep things fairly neutral. Maintain centerline, and she will fly off the runway on her own. There we go, look at that. Gear coming up. And can you hear the sound there of the sort of thud of the gear? That's very, very realistic. Put the flaps up and we'll have a look outside. And we'll immediately pull the power back to about 21 squared, which should be sufficient for our little circuit here. She feels really fluid in the air. And that's something I'm very surprised about, actually, considering the higher fidelity model and all those little touches. I'm not losing any performance at all compared to, say, the default aircraft in the sim. but it's very much a hands-on bird, and I really like how Carenado have opted for the steam gauge version, because I think really, you know, I'm not a massive fan, if I'm honest, with the sort of G1000 and G5000 cockpits. They're very nice, but there's something very special about seeing the dials move. It feels more organic. The aircraft feels more alive, and we haven't got many of those types of aircraft in the sim at the moment, so I'm really pleased they opted for the more sort of old school layout. And I think the engine sounds, along with all the sort of details of the exterior and internal modelling, give a real character and charisma that I haven't seen from a Carenado model for quite some time actually. This is really nice. Just a wonderful sight. You can see it bobbing around in the air. I just can only imagine what this will feel like in VR. But you can see the upholstery, the 3D modelling texture work, the 4K textures. I mean, it's just the best, isn't it? It's the best we've seen to date. I love how, even though this aircraft is clearly well cared for, there are some marks and scratches. You know, it's been around. Anyway, let's keep an eye on these gauges because we are a little bit quick. This is a slippery bird and it will get away from you very quickly. That engine is very, very powerful. This is the perfect consummate, really, VFR tourer. If you just fancy something different, if you're getting a bit bored of those default aircraft, and there are many of them, but there's not many that are really, truly sort of superb. I think the sort of quality of them vary quite a lot. This will be the perfect sort of antidote, I think. I'll be flying this one for many, many hours to come, I can assure you of that. As you can tell, I'm sincerely very impressed with this model. Right, we're going to come in for a bit of a touch and go here. We're a bit quick. Surprise, surprise. That's the gear warning. But it's alright, we've got quite a nice wide base, so we've got plenty of time. And you'll be pleased to know I'm going to shut up so you can hear all of those sounds of the gear coming down on the flaps. Here we go. That's really nice. Very well done. Whether it's the sim itself or whether it's Carenado's sort of quality department just upping their game, I just feel like the sounds in this thing are just truly spectacular. You can see those shaking there as the sort of manifold pressure and RPM changed. We got a bit of a shake there. Very nice. And just to say, the rain effects work perfectly as well, which I really do miss in the X-Plane sim with the Carenado aircraft, so it's great to see it making a comeback here and using all of that technology. Right, RPM is fully forward, just trimming up a bit here. Whoa, not that much. And here we go for a bit of a touch and go here at Wickham Air Park. Full concentration here. Come on, here we go. Little long. Firm touchdown, and we are away again, and we'll go to the outside view this time. This thing is a rocket. We're climbing up at about 1200 feet per minute. In fact, we can actually climb about 1500 feet per minute, about 80 knots. But I don't want to stress the engines too much. I'm not sure if you can brake them, but I don't want to try that today. But we'll climb to about 2,500 feet and do some general handling tests. A steep turn, a stall maybe. See how she feels in level flight. We're bobbing around here. Stay away from the clouds. Even though they are fair weather clouds, we'll keep VFR. And I think, yeah, we'll just take the RPM back a bit more. We'll go to about 22 squared. This really reminds me actually of the A2A Comanche, and that's high praise indeed. Of course, there's no persistency here, but I don't know, that character really comes through. I think once you experience this aircraft in VR, it's going to feel incredible. Right, so we're about 2,500 feet here. What we're going to do is going to just trim out. This thing does have an autopilot, but we're just going to fly this completely by hand today. And that's it. I'm now completely hands off. And we are nice and level. And because of that low wing design, you can really feel like this is quite a stable aircraft to fly around, even in sort of the bit of turbulence and light chop we have today, because it's quite a warm day. But that feels very stable. Just correcting a little bit so we stay level. But yeah, I'm only gone down about 200 feet. So that's me completely hands off. A little bit more trim. Feels really nice. Right, what we'll do now is we'll just do a simple left-hand turn. Keep coordinated as much as possible. And we're looking at that picture outside. It's good to not look at your instruments too much, and just to look at that sight picture as we're turning. Look at that. That looks incredible, doesn't it? It looks like ATC is letting us know that we've outside their airspace. I better respond, because I get told off all the time for not I guess it's because I'm not used to air traffic control, because I'm flying X-plane quite a lot. But it is nice to have air traffic control in the sim finally. But yeah, this feels very, very very smooth, very natural, nothing untoward. What we'll do is we'll do a steep turn to the right. See how that feels. Try and stay coordinated here and keep to 2,500 feet. This is the kind of stuff that in VR is a lot easier. But that feels, yeah, it feels really stable. It's not twitchy or quirky. There's nothing odd going on here. It feels stable. Of course, I've never flown an Ovation in real life, but this feels very realistic for the type of aircraft that this is. So what we'll do is we'll keep finding some blue sky, and we'll fly up to about 3,000 feet and try a power off stall. Now again, because of that low wing design, very Piper-esque sort of wing configuration, I'm expecting the stall to be quite uneventful really, and quite mushy, but nothing too dramatic like you'd probably find in more of a high wing configuration like a Cessna. So here we are. At no time at all, we're now at 3,000 feet. We're going to put the power off. Let's see what happens here. Sure there's no aircraft around. We should be fine. It's going to get a bit loud. We're going to get a few beeps, so apologies for that. There we go. Oh, bit of a... Oh, yeah, she was going to go then. That was a left wing drop. We had a bit of a vibration there from the aircraft. You could feel that, and lots of squeaks and rattles. So lots of visual clues before we got in too much trouble there. That felt good. And we only lost about 400 feet in that stall manoeuvre. We'll do that again. We'll do a power on stall this time. And again, apologies for the audible warnings, but they do sound very realistic. My goodness me. Oh, I think the left wind's going to go here. Yep. Oh, that was a bit more violent. There we go. So what I've decided to do actually for our final landing, we'll go and land on the grass strip. I think that'd be really interesting to see how the aircraft behaves. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, are you interested in this new Carenado release? Have you bought it? But I do feel it's an interesting and refreshing antidote to some of the more sort of G5000 fancy synthetic vision displays you find in the default flight sim. And of course, the fact that you can open doors and sort of have those static elements, it's really nice to have that back again. Right, gear coming down, we'll get lined up. This is not going to be easy actually landing on the grass strip. I think it's shorter as well, so we'll see how we get on here. But yeah, this is the winner. Totally adore this bird. I think they've done a stellar job with this release. And if this is, you know, it's early days yet, guys. This is their second aircraft for this sim. It's only going to get better. Right, trying to get a visual actually on the there it is, that's the grass strip. So full flap coming in now. Let's get our view aligned. We want to be a bit slower. Trim up a little bit. Here we go. Again, I'm going to side slip because I'm still a little bit too fast. It's a slippery bird. Should really use the air brake. That makes a difference. You can really side slip this aircraft. That's fantastic. Oh, we're nice and slow now. I can feel like the aircraft feels very mushy on the controls. Yeah, we're going to do this. Definitely, we've got enough runway. He says. Now, of course, the brakes on this thing also feel sort of unresponsive in a way, but that's again very realistic to the era that of the, you know, the real life Ovation. So there we are. We did that. We're now back on the ground again, and we'll taxi back to the airfield and shut down. What a fantastic flight that was. So really at the moment the sim is so new that there's not that many payware releases out there. So if you are looking for something different, hugely recommend the Carenado Ovation. It's superb. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all again very soon. Take care.